And so welcome everyone. All right, and we are live. We are live with on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and also on Clubhouse. So welcome everyone. This is an episode of Get Up and Grow with Tony Talks, where I have conversations with inspirational leaders, influencers, and change makers. And today we have a really great friend of mine, unbelievable businessman, and the founder of HAVE NFT, Mr. Stephen Eugene Kuhn himself. So this is going to be a great conversation because, again, these conversations are conversations that I like to have with people that are really making a difference in the world, that are making an impact in the world. And you know what? We're just going to have to mute you. Yeah, you got to stay muted on Clubhouse, Stephen, so that it doesn't interfere. We don't get feedback. So today we're going to be talking about with Stephen Kuhn again, change makers, influencers, and people that are really making a difference in the world. And Stephen and I met on Clubhouse probably, I don't know, somewhere a year ago, sometime last year. And we actually met in person for the first time a few months ago, where, you know, we went from having like an hour-long chat to sitting there and talking for 5 hours about business and life and everything in between. Fascinating human being. Certainly someone to watch for. Certainly, if you're not following Stephen Kuhn on all social media, you should, because he's up to great things, including his latest project, which is HAVE NFT, which we're going to talk about a little bit of business, talking about a little bit about life, a little bit about world politics, NFTs, and what the HAVE NFT specifically is about. So without further ado, Stephen, welcome to Tony Talks and Get Up and Grow. You're just muted here. You've got to unmute on StreamYard. And,
do I unmute on Clubhouse as well?
Nope, just here. They'll hear you on Clubhouse through my mic.
All right, cool.
So we're good.
All right, good stuff.
So
yeah, great.
On Clubhouse, if you could, you know, just let us know on Clubhouse if you can hear us. You can just send a chat, make sure that you can hear us, or if anybody wants to just jump on the stage. Of course, this is going to be an interview type format that we're also streaming to Clubhouse. So if you have any questions, you can also post them live onto the chat in the Clubhouse room, or you can put them in the chat, or rather you can just make a comment or a question on YouTube or Facebook, and we'll be able to see them and answer them as well. So without further ado, the one and only Stephen Kuhn. Tell us a little bit about who Stephen Kuhn is. We'll get started that way, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, I'm just a regular dude who was in the military for 7 years. I left Pennsylvania when I was 19. Went to boot camp in Fort Knox, Kentucky, and then went to Europe for 7 years, serving in Germany in the U.S. Army, and ended up going to Iraq. And after Iraq, I decided that there wasn't any more my kind of deal. So I decided to get out of the military, and I did what they call a European out, and I stayed in Europe. That was 1993 when I got out. Now it's now 2022. I'm 54. I got out when I was 27. It's been a heck of a journey. And in that journey, I've done some amazing things that I had no business doing, and I've worked for amazing people that I had no business working for. And but I pulled through, and that all came sort of from the will that I've always had, that was, you know, nothing's impossible. Like, if one man can do it, any man can do it, a la, you know, Marcus Aurelius. And it just, that all came to a head when some people kept asking me, well, how did you get to work for Mick Jagger? And I was like, well, I just walked up to him. Or, how'd you work for Andrea Bocelli? I'm like, well, I just walked up to him. I'm like, no. What was your mindset? How'd you get it? What was, you know, what did you prepare? How did you? And I didn't know how to answer it. So I had to sit down and articulate that. And that's when the book came out, Unleash Your Humble Alpha, with my partner, Lane Ballone. He's also a veteran. And we've been working in the veteran space for the past 4 years, helping veteran entrepreneurs, doing live events, online symposiums, coaching them, advising them. We have the Humble Alpha Advisory Paradigm Upgrade Advisory Program, where we help leaders of businesses achieve greatness and full life integration, meaning that their business and their life is more powerful through the integration of both personal life and professional life, making it one, because your identity is truly who you are, not what you do. Right. So all of that headed to, okay, how can we scale this veteran helping in a way that will have massive impact? Because there's 22 veterans that commit suicide every single day since 20 years.
Tragic.
There's 20, 30, 40, 50 times more nonprofits out there, and the number isn't changing. Why is that? It's because there's competition and the market's fragmented. So what we're doing with HAVE Humble Alpha Veteran Empowerment is that we are consolidating everything that's out there and documenting it on the blockchain. So what does that mean? We're starting with 25 nonprofits per drop of 4 drops, meaning NFT drops. That's 100 nonprofits we will be giving profit share to, plus everyone who purchases an NFT will receive a profit share for the next year. So we're going to stake, what they call invest, a good 40% of our profits and put them back into the market so we could earn interest for everyone who's taking part. So this way, we're helping the abundance side of the house for anyone who invests, hopefully veterans as well and all their families. But also we're raising funds for the 100 veteran nonprofits. There's also digital benefits. There's offline benefits. There's a whole community ecosystem. There's an app coming out, metaverse real estate, fractional real estate investment, all that kind of stuff. It's all coming out. But for now, tomorrow, we're launching the first HAVE NFT digital challenge coin. A challenge coin is a historic token that goes back to the Roman times. It was given by commanders to soldiers for doing a good job and, say, winning the battle. And that continues to this day. It's the #1 military collectible that exists. And we turned them into digital challenge coins. And yeah, it's going pretty well.
That's
We got our whitelist is full. Our whitelist is full. Waiting list is full. So yeah, if you want to get in, you got to get in tomorrow. We're only doing a pre-launch tomorrow, a private sale. We're selling 15% of the collection.
That's fantastic. I'm looking forward to that.
And Tony, I got to tell you, Tony, one quick thing. We are so blown away by the fact that our spokesman, we gained a spokesman, Florent Groberg. Florent Groberg is one of the only 77 living Medal of Honor recipients. And he speaks on our behalf for the HAVE mission. And that's just incredible to have like a real TV hero, if you will, supporting us. It's pretty cool if I may say so myself.
Oh, that's amazing. Look, I'm excited for it because again, everything that we can do to help our veterans, because the freedoms that we enjoy throughout anywhere in the world, if you're enjoying freedom right now, freedom of speech, freedom to own a home, buy a business, to walk around, we owe it to the soldiers that have gone before us, right? Those they're now fighting and serving, and those who have come before us, we owe it to them. So I've always been an advocate for veterans and helping them however I can. I was I didn't serve in the military. My wife did though, so I got that through her. And so I really support this project that you guys are working on because there's still an underserved community. Many times soldiers, and you know this better than most, is they go in, they serve 4 years, 6 years, 8, 10, however many years, and they come out many times. If they put in their 20, 25 years, they've made a career out of it. It's a little different. But for those who just serve 1 or 2 terms, or 1 or 2, even if they re-enlist, they come out many times ill-prepared for what's out, right? And it's important to point out and let everyone know, every employer know that some of the best skilled and some of the best leaders come out of the military. So it's important to point that out. So just backing up a little bit. So, I'm sorry I didn't get to mention the Humble Alpha, because that is an amazing book. I actually read it myself about a month and a half ago, whenever it was. It's a fascinating read, and I love the way that you wrote it, and then you give practical examples and things to do and worksheets that can help people actually take effective action as they're reading the book. So I think that it's a fantastic program. And, I'd like to just touch base a little bit on what you do in terms of business and how you do it, just for a few minutes. And then maybe we'll tap into a little bit of what those NFTs are. What's that non-fungible token? Because obviously that's many people know about it, but not everybody knows about it. So if we can just touch on that a little bit to just, again, education is everything, right? Letting people be more aware of what's happening, because there's a lot of stuff out there and right now the world's being flooded with NFTs, just like it's being flooded with cryptocurrency, like it's being flooded with so many things. And not every project is worth it. Not every project is real, and not every project stands on its own 2 feet and actually is a real project. They all call it a project, but some of these projects are just about raising money for nothing. Where this one is really something that is tangible. There's an investment component to it, and of course, the social entrepreneurship side, the contribution, the philanthropic side of it as well. So just if you could just touch on that just a little bit more as well.
Yeah, sure.
And why it's important.
Yeah, well, it's the first thing is you say how I do business. Let me just give you an example. So this project is the largest profit for purpose project on the entire metaverse. Okay, and I had this as an idea 5 months ago. Now, how the hell do you get a team of 70 people to build to work with a blockchain, autonomous blockchain company with a complete mainframe, build the entire infrastructure, design all the NFTs in 5 months? How's that possible? Because I'm Superman? No. It's called collaborations, joint ventures, right? Working together with people. 100%. And that's how I do business. So, for instance, I'm doing a deal right now in Switzerland for a real estate deal, buying a business and doing what they call a carve out. We're buying the business and real estate and selling the real estate and leasing it back, right? And I'm just the talker. I'm not the guy who's structuring the deal. So I'm collaborating again. I don't want to close a deal. I know how, but I don't want to deal with the metrics. I don't want to be the architect. I'm the person who's up front. I talk, I close deals, and I raise funds. Those are the three things that I do. And everything else that I need, I collaborate or use joint ventures or, we do partnerships. And that's the ease of doing business, because why would I try to do something that I'm not good at when I know someone who's good at it and I can give them a piece of the pie and everybody's happy? That's how I do business in everything that I've ever done. I can't say that I've ever owned a business on my own. I literally have never owned a business on my own. Why would I? Right? So that's how I do business. Same thing with HAVE NFT. We're four founders. Lane and myself, Sarah and Pat. We have a Canadian, Australian, and 2 Americans. And it's funny too.
International, I love it.
Yeah, international. We're very diverse. And then I thought, wait a second. Lane is Native American. Pat is Native Canadian American, and Sarah is Indian from India, but lives in Australia. And I was like, wait a second, everybody's Indian except for me. So not so diverse. Anyway, just different. I thought it was funny. Anyway, so we collaborate. Sarah does a thing, Lane does a thing, Pat does a thing, and I do my thing. And that way it's more streamlined. And then everything else we need, all the tech, all the baseline, the blockchain design, all that stuff, just extra. And because of the fact that we're such collaborators, when we needed to raise funds for this, we did it in about a weekend. So we raised the money in about 1 weekend. No business plan, nothing written down. Just, hey, this is what we're doing. And why would they invest in us? Because of the team we had set up to collaborate with us. I mean, you say you're working with ECTA, say you're working with Pitch House, you're working with Blockchain X, and there's another company that we were working with. We sort of parted ways, but those 4 companies and our name together, they're like, wow, this is real. Like, this is happening. And so we don't believe in just doing a digital token or a digital picture and raise money and that now you're a member of an exclusive club. No, that's not our deal. Our deal is real world impact. ECTA only works with projects that have real world impact, meaning their token is connected to real world assets as well. Like I said before,
and that's an important point.
Yeah.
And I just got to jump in. And that's an important point because there's a lot of NFTs that aren't really connected to anything. There's a lot of cryptocurrency that isn't connected to anything. Listen, let's, not to get into the conversation, but Dogecoin, it was a meme that was turned into a coin as a goof. And now it's, one of the top movers, right? So, but this is not that. This is not a goof coin. It's not a goofy NFT that somebody's just creating. This is, it's got a purpose, it's got a meaning, and it's backed. It's a real world application.
Well, and that's the whole thing, is that there's so much application behind it. We have the ability to build that out as well. And again, when you realize how easy it is, not easy, but how possible it is to scale with the blockchain, because everything's automated. Once you have the smart contracts in place in the blockchain, as far as allotment of profit shares goes, it's locked in forever. Like you can't change it, right? It's automatic. So every time someone buys one NFT, that gets split up into those percentages and sent out to their wallets. So you know how much time in bookkeeping that saves, how much time in writing checks and checking Excel sheets and everything. It's over. So just to be able to figure that out and say, man, I can scale my business like crazy and save all kinds of money on the accounting costs because it's all pre-done. Incredible. Just that knowledge. And now we can save even the healing modalities, the results, the cures, if you will, right? As well as the processes going through each of the, let's say, nonprofits. One of them, you climb mountains. The other one, you go rowing. The other one, you sit in a boot camp or whatever. And right now, a veteran has to go out and look and Google and find. Yeah. But with the blockchain, it'll be all accessed through one portal. So anyone who works with us will be in that portal, and what that means is we're only consolidating what's out there. We're not building our own anything, yeah, except for the umbrella that raises the funds for those 100 nonprofits and uses those funds to give back to the community through the profit share to everyone who owns an NFT, giving to 100 nonprofits, and then using the rest to reinvest to, for instance, bring out the app so that people can connect and have that social aspect when they're like, hey, you're in Vegas. Who else is in Vegas? Oh my gosh, so-and-so is here with their, from the HAVE community. Then we have the HAVE missions. The HAVE missions are where we travel all over the world eventually. But now we do it in America, helping veterans build their house, fix things that are broken, disaster relief, and it's all voluntary. Why? Because people in that area know who we are. They trust us, and they all go to one place to help one veteran fix something. And what they get out of it is that bigger mission, that purpose larger than themselves, and the camaraderie that everyone misses when they leave the military.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. And again, that's what's so exciting because, again, the real applications. And it's like you said, if you're having to do the bookkeeping and all of those things, it's unfathomable.
Well, think of it, 100 nonprofits every month. Imagine dispersing, profits to 100 nonprofits every single month, calculating how much they get, and then writing a check, 100 check. Oh my God, no. Now it'll be all automated.
Yeah, no, and listen, the technology, again, there's still a lot of people that, and I'm just learning. In fairness, I've been learning about NFTs a little bit at a time, drips and drabs at a time, just because there's so much to learn with new technologies and cryptocurrency and NFTs. There's just been it's so much of a learning curve as well. And again, NFTs are something that are here to stay, just like cryptocurrency. People are like, well, cryptocurrency isn't going to stick around. Well, yeah, it is. Well, NFTs is just a fad. Well, no, it's not, because they're now creating, there's artists that are putting out songs and movies as NFTs. So when you can invest in an NFT, every time you sell it, you own a piece of it, right? So you sell it, you make a profit, and whoever created it, and it just trickles on down, and it's that gift that keeps on giving, so to speak. So every time that coin, if somebody has the NFT, sells it, every time it gets sold, that those charities get a percentage of that sale as well. So it's just
exactly
the way the whole thing works is just again, it's fascinating, and I'm still learning. I've still got my training wheels on.
Yeah, it's incredible, and what people don't realize is that this is here, and it's here to stay, and it's not changing. I mean, it'll change. It'll morph into something more solid and more regulated, because right now there's no regulation, which is a big problem, because there's scammers like crazy out there. So just be careful. You cannot buy a HAVE NFT anywhere but the HAVE NFT.io marketplace, which leads to the ECTA marketplace. There's no OpenSea. There's none of that other stuff. Only on our platform. Everything else is a scam. We've had people already scammed in Discord, which is a community where a lot of the crypto people hang out. And scammers will copy your entire Discord channel and your entire website, invite you over to the new Discord channel. You think it's real, go to the website, mint a token, and you get nothing. You're just giving them money. And so you got to be really careful that you go back into the Discord, into the general chat, and say, hey, is this the right link? Right? So it's just don't. If anyone's in Discord, turn off your DMs. Just turn them off. Don't even because there's 500 scammers a day that join, and we have like 3 people full time. That's all they do is vet and everybody that comes in and boot them out, boot them out, boot them out. So it's crazy. Wow. It's crazy. We talked to one hacker. Him and his partner do $1 million a week.
What?
Yeah, stealing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Horrible.
I'm learning as well, and I don't know if I've already been hit already. Even
I was hit. I fell for it.
Yeah, I think I've already been hit as well. It was something that was supposed to have been minted already a couple of days ago, and I haven't gotten any messages on it, so I've got to check. You know, there's just so much going on that sometimes, you know, then again, fortunately, it wasn't a big investment either. And sometimes you learn by making those mistakes, just like you did. You know, you got hit, so you remember, which is all the more reason to be more careful. And, you know, do the research as much as you can on what it is and who it is that you're investing with. As much as what it is important, the who you're investing with is equally important. And again, this is why, you know, I'm jumping in, and I'm going to be investing some of the NFTs with you tomorrow, because again, I know, like, and trust you, right? Which is an important component of business, is to have that. And again, people can check you out. They can check out the Humble Alpha. What is it? Humble Alpha. What's the website for the Humble Alpha? Let's do that.
HumbleAlpha.com. HumbleAlpha.com.
It's just HumbleAlpha.com.
There's, you name it, it's there. I mean, look, you can write me on Facebook, you can write me on LinkedIn, you can write me on Instagram. I'm everywhere. So is Lane, so is Sarah, so is Pat, so is Berwin. All the. That's the one thing that we wanted to do most of all, was like, we're here, we're public profile, we're completely transparent, so that everyone realizes we're not just, again, because if you go to other NFT sites, you'll see under the team part of the website, they have memes there, or they have NFTs, but not the real people, you know? And you're like, wait a second, why would I buy something from someone? I don't even know who's there. I want to see who's behind the project. And that's why it was important for us to stay transparent, talk about our past, what we've done. And of course, the work we've done in the veteran space works for itself. Most veterans know or have heard of us or one of our groups, the Veteranpreneur Tribe, the Warrior Council. Our business accelerators are now getting famous. You know, we had someone like Amelia Antonetti came in to Texas in November and coached, speed coached some people. Ron Lynch, the $6.2 billion man, came and coached, and they did that for free for the veterans. Amelia was amazing, you know, and so we're sort of known for that now, and that we're just taking what's already there, and we're pumping up a little bit more, so we have more impact, consolidating what's already out there to serve the veterans and their families.
It's fantastic. And like I said, very worthwhile mission. And, you know, so if we can just go back, maybe, you know, we talk about a couple of the finer points, not that that it isn't all fine points of the Humble Alpha. So let's just go back to the Humble Alpha and some of the lessons that you share in there. What are, you know, if you could share 2 or 3 or 4 things that people are always commenting on, or what would be the most sought after conversation when people are talking to you about the Humble Alpha?
I would say the most powerful thing that anyone's going to get out of the book is creating space, right? So that's one of the concepts. Everything's based on 5 core models and a set of core principles. And the book is broken up into those 5 sections. Each section has a story, a lesson, and like you said, the action steps. Very clear, very specific. And that's why the book has been picked up now by Forbes School of Business and Technology, and right now 2 other very big Ivy League universities are about to sign that would just change everything, because they are internationally known, with very little change to the course material. So it's basically the book made into a course. And the core principles that we talk about are HIT: honesty, integrity, and transparency. I've been teaching HIT in the corporate world as a freelancer for 20 years. And I call it honesty, integrity, and transparency. They used to call me the Hit Man. I wasn't going to say no to that, right? And it wasn't me called the Hit Man, right? And so HIT stands for honesty, integrity, transparency. Honesty with yourself while you do say and think like you do. Transparency is how you step into the world with that honesty, and it's your ongoing reputation that makes you authentic. And that authenticity and the transparency, with the honesty, the byproduct is integrity. Integrity is doing what you say you're going to do, doing what you say you're not going to do, what you say you're not going to do, and if you screw up, fix it and apologize. That's integrity. So once you learn that and you're brutally honest with yourself, you realize really quick that, hey, I only need to be honest with myself to be honest with the world. Because if you're honest with yourself, when you're telling somebody something it's not kosher, you're going to feel it and you're going to stop and you're going to correct it. Right? So that's the way we talk about the HIT. Then creating space is what you do when you walk into a meeting, stand on stage. I come in here today. I show up wholly and fully for the person and the people in front of me with no preconceived notions or no cookie cutter solutions and no expectation of a specific outcome. I focus on the only thing that I can control in any conversation, and that is my intention to add value by solving problems. That's creating space. When you do that, it's so easy to chat. Matter of fact, I get paid a lot of money just to do conversations with people to set up a deal. Like I said before, I don't do the construction of the deal. I don't do the architecture of the deal. I'm the guy who goes in, creates space, makes everybody feel great. We have a commonality, and then they close the deal, and I'm sort of there standing, watching, and making everybody feel good. And that's not because I'm a great guy. It's because I have real, true, genuine interest in human beings. And when I'm talking to somebody, I want to know what makes them tick and why and what and when. And it's important.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I think that, the honesty, integrity, and transparency is everything. When I talk a lot about honesty, because there's that old line that's so true, is if you tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said, right? Because and there's so many people, both in business and in personal life, that they'll say something, and then when you ask them about it a week, 2 weeks later, they don't remember. And they just don't remember you cannot remember the details, but you remember the conversation. The nice thing is you don't have to remember what you said, because if you tell the truth, there's nothing to cover up. And a lot of people forget that, so they get trapped in the lies because they're out of integrity. And I think integrity is just a huge component. And to speak of integrity isn't just, there's a saying, I'm sorry if there's a little bit of noise going on in the background. Integrity isn't just doing the right thing when nobody's looking. It's about integrating what you've learned into your life. So I think that's a huge, huge part of it.
Well, it's a lot of people, they're always looking for the definition or the solution of the problem that they have, as far as, how do I be a good person? How am I successful in life? How am I, being authentic? I got to be different than everybody else or whatever. But in the end, it's just about raising your own verdict and saying, I have the right to my own path, and I'm going to take my own path, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to have that verdict over me every day. And it's not because, I deserve it, or because I'm good enough. It's because it's a birthright. God, whoever you believe in, God, the universe, Allah, whatever, angels, put you here to be successful and abundant. They didn't put you here to suffer, right? So when we believe that and we work through that, then our life is completely different. There's things like, the mind is always going to complicate things with some elaborate construction, right? But if you let go and allow yourself to receive what's already in front of you, the alternative space is what I call it, space between you and God and the universe, or whatever, all that empty space out there, they're always going to come up with the optimal solution, and it's always going to amaze you if you allow it to amaze you. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, of course, ideas serve as a starting point always, right? This is the most important thing, just to get going, but the alternative flow will complete everything else. So you will receive the answers to everything else if you're open. You keep your head up, not focusing on the grindstone. You focus on the intention of what it is that you wish, and forget about the how. Why? Because when you're certain that you will achieve your goal, the how doesn't matter. The how creates itself. The brain, right? Our brain is not a storage device like people think it is. You got to go to college and store, 25 years worth of information so you could use it at work. No, we're here to create. There's no new thoughts. We create. The brain creates. It's a creating machine. So like, where do ideas come from? They all come from the same place, right? Most of brilliant ideas exist already anyway, but they come like through the soul, like you feel it. And then the mind's task isn't, this is my thing, is that the mind's task is not to find the idea, but to recognize it when it hits you. You understand what I'm saying? And it will hit you if you step away and follow your own path, obeying the dictates of the heart. That's a powerful, powerful thing to say, right? Powerful thing to say. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. Is that the harder we try to make something pure, the harder we try to make ourselves free, the harder we try to be better, the more closed in our world becomes.
Yeah.
So if we let go of all
those whispers, right? The whispers, the ideas, because when you have an idea or you have a thought, you need to expound upon it, right? Don't just wave it off. No, if you have a thought, if you have an idea, think about it. Go, do some of that, because we need that thinking time. We need that time to try to elaborate on these ideas to see if it goes somewhere. So many people just wave things off, and they're called the whispers. You hear a whisper, perhaps that's the universe, God, whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, trying to give you that indication of maybe a way to go, a path to take, or whatever it is. So it's important to, when you have a thought, think about it. Don't just let it go by. because that thought, that idea was put into your mind, into your heart for a reason. And going back to what you were talking about before, is our mind creates things that many times aren't there. And overthinking is the enemy of success. Overthinking is the enemy of peace. Overthinking is the enemy of happiness. Because remember that our minds, our primitive minds, it's an amazing, a human being is just an amazing machine, right? Our brain is an amazing computing device and everything else. But it is not there. It is not designed to make us happy. It's designed to keep us safe, right? So it creates all kinds of scenarios to warn you to stay away from that, to not go there, because again, it's not about making you happy. It's about keeping you safe. So that's our primitive mind does that.
Yeah. And we need to let go of that. It basically, in order to succeed as one of the chosen ones, or whatever you want to call it, like the people, the only difference between Gary Vee and you or me is that he took his path seriously. He made the verdict and said, this is what I'm doing, period. And that's it. Right. So that's the difference. Everyone has their degree of that. Right. Whether we want it or not is another idea. But to take that path requires the audacity to exercise your own right to knowledge. Right. All you need to do is change your intention from being given something, waiting to be given something, to creating something on your own. Right? From an idea that's already there. I mean, seriously,
100%.
What's the difference between us and famous people? The only difference is that they stopped searching for answers from others and started creating with the courage to set out on their own path with imperfect action, is what we always talk about. And if you start, and if you think of starting something, then do it. The thought is a sign, like you said. Listen to it, act, and start creating. Apply for that singing contest or that dream job you always wanted, or approach that guy or that girl that you were looking at or whatever. Start writing a book. Only you can limit the outcome, and that's the whole thing. It's it's a simple of a matter of one single difference between those who make it and those who don't. One person claims their right to their own life, and the other doesn't believe they're worthy or capable. That's the difference.
That and they take a shot. I think it was Wayne Gretzky. Actually, more appropriate, I think, it was Wayne Gretzky's dad that said that you miss every shot you don't take. Yep. Right. And most people are too afraid because they're afraid of the judgment that comes if they don't succeed or if they don't achieve whatever it is. And that fear keeps them locked up. It keeps them in their box. It keeps them from being that humble alpha. Rather, it keeps them from being that alpha. Being a humble alpha is a whole other story, right? But it keeps them from stepping into their power. And it's the lack of courage that we're seeing in the world these days, right? Because of fear of judgment, and people just need to step into that and just lean into the courage, because it's not, you don't have to be courageous your whole life. It's in those moments of decision, those moments of applying for that singing contest, about putting your hand up and saying yes or no, or I will, or I won't, or I don't, or, it takes, and it's those momentary, those moments, those glimpses of courage that actually change your life.
It's you basically giving yourself a verdict that you have the right to assert your birthright of choosing you. Like a verdict, like a judge says, boom, this is how it is. That's what we got to get in our heads, because that creates that certainty, right? And this is your ticket to eternity. And it's the sanction of your privilege to create your own reality.
100%.
In the past, we're always taught how to be expected or how you should behave or what you're supposed to strive for. But now it's time for everybody to claim their lawful right to establish their own way. It is for you to decide what's right and what is not, because only you can shape the layer of your personal reality. Only you. No one else can, will, or should shape your reality. If they are shaping your reality, you're a slave to them. Why would you want to be that? Right? So the universe is a mirror to us. I believe the universe is a mirror to us. I really, really do. It's always going to deliver what we believe. Even a person who dares to declare their own verdict, right? So it's like, man, today's going to suck. Guess what? The universe is like, here you go, or, hey, man, what a horrible day. The universe is like, you're right. Here you go. You know what I mean? So,
well, how often, think about it. And I think that anyone that's listening could relate to this. I know I certainly can. I'm sure you can. We've all had those days that it seems like nothing could go right? It doesn't matter what you do. Nothing goes right. Well, we forget we should just go left when nothing goes right, right? But the reality of it is we've also had those days that we felt like King Midas. It doesn't matter what we did, what we touched, it all turned to gold, and it was amazing. And we have these days every now and again that are amazing. What is the difference between one and the other? The only difference is that you chose to focus on the negative and said, damn it, I knew this shit was going to happen, and it happens. What a terrible day. And then something else happens and something else happens. Most people don't have a bad day. They have a bad moment, or they have a bad minute that they milk all freaking day. So that bad moment becomes a bad day. The bad day becomes a bad week. The bad week becomes a bad month. The bad month becomes a bad year. And that bad year could become a bad life, right? So we've all heard the term, some people get buried die at 25, only get buried at 75, and live the same year over and over again, call it a life. No, they stopped living when they stopped making the decision, when they stopped looking for something else, when they gave up on their dream. Because guess what? Not making a decision is the decision.
Yeah.
You've made the decision not to make a decision. Of course, that just means you're not going to go anywhere. But the reality of it is, we are all free to make decisions. We're just not free from the consequences of those decisions. And not making a decision has consequences, right? So, again, and that's where, and I loved your book, it talks in and around all of this, right? About becoming that humble alpha, about stepping into your power, but still being humble about it, still knowing that you're just, you're just another, just like how you started, you're just a regular guy, right? Yeah. You're just a regular girl. You're a regular person doing irregular things in many cases, right?
So this is the deal. When you realize that the power of you lies within, and it doesn't matter what people think on the outside, right? Because when you're genuine and you're authentic, you just do what the hell you do anyway, because that's who you are. People are going to be drawn to you anyway. Why? Because of the certainty. People buy your certainty. They don't buy your product or your service. They buy your certainty in yourself. And when I talk about certainty, I'm not talking about the world's perfect for me because I'm certain it will be. No, I'm certain about my ability to deploy my talents in any given situation. That's the certainty I'm talking about. So you step up to me and you have a problem, I will solve it, or I will find somebody who will solve it, or I know somebody who can solve it, or whatever. That's the certainty that I'm talking about. So you hear it in my voice, you feel it in my vibe, and people are attracted to that. Simple as that. Why? Because I know who I am, and I know what my talents are. The book, the first chapter, the identity, will tell you your 2-word moniker, what your natural power is. Mine is powerful connector. I bring people together. I inject power into those connections. Everybody wins, including me. Right. So that's what I do. Again, I talk to people, I close deals, and I raise funds. How? Just right here on Zoom. I literally spend 6-8 hours a day on Zoom. That's it. Closing deals, making deals, raising funds. And that's because I know my identity. I know what I'm good at. Why would I do anything else? I bring in collaboration partners to do all that kind of stuff.
I do love that, by the way. And you invoked Gary Vee into the conversation. So I'm going to share a thought that he said, and I think it plays well into what you're saying. And it's this, is that, stop working on your weaknesses. Focus on your strengths. F your weaknesses. Why would you work on your weakness? It takes away time from you're doing what you're good at, right? If you're really good at connecting with people, why are you going to be working on spreadsheets and everything else if that's not your zone of genius? Or why are you going to be working on things that don't belong to you, so to speak? They belong to you, but you can hire someone, you can have somebody that's going to assist you with that. So forming those strategic partnerships so that you have somebody else, because guess what? The one thing that you don't like to do that you can do, but you don't like to do, somebody else loves to do. And there's other people that don't like to talk to people, don't like being on camera, don't like being on a mic. They hate it, they fear it, and they prefer, listen, that's why we have accountants, and that's why we have people that do all kinds of different things, right? Not to say that accountants don't talk to people. I'm not saying that, but there's people that have their zones of genius. What is your genius, right? Talking about Amelia before with the genius key, and we have, by the way, we have an amazing event coming up, which I don't know if we've spoken to you about it, but it's the Genius Challenge happening on April 20th and 29th in Las Vegas. So we'll talk, We'll talk a little bit more about that offline. Right. We can talk about it now just for a minute. So it's going to be at the War Studios in Vegas. 300 people live, anywhere between 5,000 and 25,000 people is the reach that we can do it digitally. And we're going to have amazing speakers and just amazing products being shared, amazing ideas being shared, and really talking about the gig economy, talking about creating that culture and stepping up and creating that leadership, those leaders within your organization, helping leaders lead. Like I said, conversation that we should probably have offline, because perhaps you should come and speak at that as well. So, but we'll see.
Speak there, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. I know that you've got a pretty booked schedule as well. But listen, I want to invite everybody to get the Humble Alpha book. It really is. It's an easy read. It's not, there's a lot of personal and self-help books and personal development and business books that you read, and you've got to have 18 cups of coffee per day just to get through it. Your book was freaking awesome. It's engaging. It's easy to read. The tips and strategies and the exercises and the actionable items that you have in there are freaking amazing. So everybody should go to humblealpha.com to get that. And do you have to find the Discord server? And I should probably have had that prepared to write up here. Perhaps you can you see that you can type it into that. Post a comment right there.
All right, let me do that
and
open that up.
Anybody can also just send me a DM, private message, or to Stephen, either on here or on Clubhouse, and we will make sure that you're connected to that Discord server, so you have the opportunity to get in on this HAVE NFT drop that is going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be a private sale. Nevertheless, sign up so you can be part of the next one. And by the way, what does HAVE stand for? I don't know that we covered that yet.
Humble Alpha Veteran Empowerment.
There you go. The Humble Alpha Veteran Empowerment.
Yeah. And why the Humble Alpha? Because the Humble Alpha is an operating system. Once you download all this information and you create your own, you unleash your own version of your own operating system, that's what you base the rest of your life on, because it's just like the operating system of your PC. It's got to work, right? You got to understand it. How does a PC work? I don't know, but there's chips in there and you know what it's all about. You know where to stick in the cables to charge it and stuff, right? But if I ask you what your operating system is for your life, you'd be like, what do you mean? Well, what are your core principles? Well, honesty, and everybody's got to be nice people and stuff. Most people can't tell you their core principles or what the operating system is. I can tell you my 5 models of my operating system and how I do what I do and how I get to where I get in every situation that I am. And it allows me to build upon that, because once you articulate your operating system through this book, you're going to be much more powerful than you were before, because now you know your strengths. And your strengths are aligned with your purpose. Your purpose amplifies your identity and gives you that presence that everybody wants. Right? You own that presence, and that's where everything else falls away. That's where the humility comes in, because you're like, hey, I'm good. I got this. I don't need to talk about it. I don't need to go out and yell and scream. I don't need to be the big guy in town. I don't need to say I'm the CEO. We use co-founder. I don't use CEO or director or whatever. Co-founder. That's enough. You know what I mean? Like we're not really into that, right? It doesn't matter. The impact matters. How many people we touch matters. Right.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, I've just put that the Discord server link on both Facebook and YouTube, as well as on Clubhouse. So click that link, join that. Again, you don't want to miss it. Don't miss this event, because it is going to be one of those that I think we'll be able to look back and say, yeah, I remember when. And again, the impact that this is making, the benefit that it's helping so many people. And again, it's the thing that fascinates me about your NFT project, Stephen, is that the real world application and the investments, the real investments that can be made into real assets and real estate, and again back into humanity.
Well, and that's what we started with, and this is just an extension of what we're already doing. So it isn't like we're creating anything new. Again, like I said, but the real deal is that we're transparent. We're real. We have a real world impact. We got partners that are huge and very based on sustainability and improving the value of people's lives, connecting real world to the blockchain and vice versa. And that's a worthy mission. That's a really worthy mission. Then you add the veteran space to it, and the families, because people talk about veterans all the time, but we like to include families, because when I deployed, if I was married, I would have had the wife and kids stayed behind. That's trauma as well. Looking for your daddy on TV every single day for a year. That's trauma that people forget about. And so we talk about those family organizations too, as far as gold wives and gold mothers, gold star wives and gold star mothers, the same thing. When they have a spouse that fell or a son that fell, they're the mothers of a fallen soldier, and they're considered gold star. Some double stars, double gold stars. It's horrible. But it's something that we want to honor and build upon. And, I live in Budapest, and the Romans were here. Caesar lived in Budapest. So there's been wars here since way before we can even count, right? And it's funny that challenge coins, they began in the Roman times with the Caesars. And these challenge coins, like I said, were given to soldiers for good deeds and winning the battle and stuff. And here we are, thousand years later, or whatever it is, doing the digital challenge coins. And I'm here in Budapest, where it all started with the Romans. Isn't that crazy? Like for me, it's just like, it's like, wow, it's crazy, man. Like it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. And again, I apologize for some of the sounds going on in the back. I've got some construction going on, so I have to keep muting my mic. But yeah, look, it all comes back, right? It all comes back, and what's happening now. I think this is important just to kind of focus on our military and our veterans right now, because of course here we are. The world is going through yet another challenge with the war in Ukraine and Russia, and there's still so much happening there that we don't know about, and the murkiness of what's happening there. And
well, we got. I have my next call in 6 minutes, so we don't want to get into that. But I can tell you this.
Yeah, no, we can't get into. I just want to honor and I just want to.
I can tell you this. Yeah, I live, a couple 100 kilometers from the border of Ukraine. And I feel it every day. We see the refugees, and downtown, they're all, there's refugees everywhere. It's a sad thing, but they're not, just so they're not suffering. They're in nice hotels. They're taken care of. They get 4 squares or 3 squares a day, that kind of stuff. So it's once they get them away from that border, it's fine. Now, the 18 to 60-year-old men are supposed to be locked in. They can't leave so they could fight. But I've only met 16 to 40-year-old men the whole time I've been here, thousands of them. So I'm not sure what the truth is. There's other stuff going on we don't need to talk about that is real and isn't real. So it's just do your due diligence when you believe something, and don't go out waving flags before you know what's actually going on, one or the other. That's what I just want to add. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did, because there's still a lot to be learned from what's happening there. And listen, I'm watching. I know you're watching. The world is watching, and I hope that that people do the right. That the media and the media does the right thing, and that our politicians, or rather, I hope that our politicians do the right thing, and the media finally does their job. Of course, we haven't seen that in quite a while. So not to get political, but honestly, that's the conversation that we should have here on another show, exclusively on what's going on in the world. That would be fun. So maybe we'll do that next week or two.
Well, I have friends literally on Zoom from Kiev, or in Russia and St. Petersburg. And I had visitors here in Budapest the other day from St. Petersburg in Russia, Americans who live there. And then I have Russian friends that are in the military, and Ukrainian friends. And what's actually going on, I couldn't even tell you, because no one would believe me anyway. So, I could just give.
We've also tapped into that conversation. We were in person. And that's honestly, it's a conversation that I'd like to carry on with you anyway. Listen, brother, I so appreciate you for being here, spending some time with us, and for what you're doing for our veterans, what you're doing for the world, because you're on Breakfast with Champions on Clubhouse on a regular basis, sharing your knowledge, sharing your wisdom, which you have a vast amount of. So really grateful to put you in my friends and family column, and looking forward to continue to learn from you and grow with you, and looking forward to tomorrow. See what.
Likewise, brother. Thanks so much. Everybody go out there and grab your HAVE NFT. Get ready tomorrow. We're going to be rocking this. It's going to be awesome. We're going for 15% of the collection, but we already have over 2,000 people on the waiting list. So who knows? We might even sell out tomorrow. You never know.
Yeah. Well, listen, hopefully you do. So everybody, check out the humblealpha.com, humblealpha.com for that, and the Discord server. You can just go to discord.gg/have. And check it out. Check out Stephen. Follow him around on social, and of course, follow him on Instagram as well. Stephen Eugene Kuhn. Of course, you can find me on Instagram as well. Tony Rodriguez with an S. Tony Rodriguez 2.0 on Instagram, and of course, if you're already watching here on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, you know how to find me. All right. Thank you again, brother. Looking forward to tomorrow, and have an amazing day. And all of you that are listening, have an amazing day.
Thank you, brother. You too, man.